Hi guys. This is Gus from Runaway Acres. How you guys doing? Well, we got some homesteading things to do around here. In the greenhouse. What do you got going on there?
Watching a wasp eat the bugs off this plant.
She's watching a wasp eat bugs off of her mums. All right, well, let's get to it. Come along. There's another project going on right there. Greenhouse frames. Oh, there's Big Red. Giving the dog some bones from the leftover ribs I had over the other night. And dogs love them rib bones. Good for them teeth too. Here, Bear. Here, Bear. Here, Bear. There you go. Ah. It's like feeding chickens your chicken. I'm feeding pork to the pork. All right. Let's talk about one of the projects that's going on here at the farm, homestead, farmstead, whatever you want to call yourself. Just try to be self-efficient, self-sustainable. Minnie's pregnant. She's about due anytime. There is Fawn and there is Dolly. Wouldn't say she's a newborn goat. But she is fairly young. I think she's about like a month and a half old now. We are putting up another section of fence. Right down through here. We're going up here to the top. Just going to kind of show you guys how to tie into another fence. So we have a border fence that runs all the way down through there. So what I did, I took a T-post, drove it right along the side of this fence right here, all the way down. Then I took another T-post. You can buy stuff for these, but I got mine wedged right up in against this the lock on the T-post, the raised part, and all the way down to the ground. What I did was I pushed as far as I can on the top, drove my other T-post right next to it, and then I released some of the tension where it rests up against this other T-post. So that's what you got. So basically what you do when you pull on your fence, it's going to pull on that pole right there when you start stretching your fence. When it pulls, it's going to drive this guy further into this one right here. You cut some of your fence off where you got extra. So what we do is we wrap all the way around this T-post into this right here. And then whatever you can, if you can try to wrap like around the other part of the old fence, wrap around it and come around and then twist around. That's what I end up doing all the way down. His fence is a little bit different than mine. I bought this used section of fence, and these are 4x4 squares, and I don't have enough to go all the way down, but I got some more used fence. I bought some used fence off of Marketplace. I did that whole section of fence all the way down there, and then I did some more fencing on the other side of the barn, and I repaired multiple sections through this fence. My neighbor has cattle over there. I do not care about the cattle at all, but so sometimes you wake up in the morning, you get cattle in your yard, so I had to fix the fence. Didn't ask the neighbor to fix the fence. It ain't no big deal. He's an older gentleman. We're here to get along. So I fixed the fence what I can. It's what we do. We help each other out. The man helps me out. I help him out. All right. So we got this already stretched. We got it tied around the T-post and the fencing. And we got this support bar to keep this post straight up and down. All right, so we're hooked up to Big Red here. We're using the come along chain. Come along, a 2x4 with some holes drilled in it with some 1/4-inch bolts, two 2x4s squeezed together on the fence to pull the fence. Use the come along, and we stretch the fence. Now don't get super crazy, but you can see how nice and tight it is. Go up there, laying on the fence, not even really hurting the fence. But you can see how tight I got it. And the fence gets tighter. I got it pretty good and snug earlier, but you want to take the fence and walk it in, and when you can walk it in, it gets really, really tight. All right, guys, tools to do your fence. One, there is a tool for your fence ties. You can buy it. I think they're like, I've seen them as cheap as $6 and as much as $20. Well, here on the Homestead, and a lot of homesteaders, they improvise and they use what they can around here. So here's your fence ties. You can buy 100 of these at Tractor Supply for $7. If you go to Roll King and you buy fence, you get a bag per, I think it's per stick or something like that. No, per bundle, a couple bags. A bundle of bags per bundle of T-posts. And it's not enough, you'll have to buy more. Next, the tool I use is a punch. Punch out of my service van. And all you gotta do is make sure that your tool that you're gonna use, you'll see here in a little bit. But this wraps around the T-post, and this hooks the fence between, here's T-post that runs up, and the fence is gonna be right here in between the T-posts. All you do is you stick this through there and you twist right around the fence itself. But I use a punch. I got lots of them. I go through lots of punches in the service field. And don't forget gloves. Reason why is I got a boo-boo right here. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. We'll do something at the end, but I'm not going to show you guys because it's ugly. Actually, I use these ones. I like these ones around here because if you're in the pens cleaning or working on an animal or something, or helping an animal out, you don't have to worry about tearing. And don't forget gloves. Reason why we wear leather gloves when you do fencing, well, a lot of people don't know when was the last time they had tetanus shots. Well, working with fencing, it's metal, and it will poke you, and it will cut you. If you take time away from the fence while you're working with it, it will get you eventually. I'm not going to say it's going to happen to everybody, but anybody that's ever done fencing, they know it hurts. All right, let's get busy. So Melissa's going to man the camera. Where are you, honey? Putting her stuff in the truck. Yeah, it's starting to sprinkle. Hey, you got any rib meat stuck in your teeth? I got some rib meat stuck in my teeth. I'm going to go inside and go brush them or floss them. We had some ribs for lunch. I know I said good morning. All right, so when you put your fence up, this one's already tied on the top. So when you push in on the fence, you could tie up the top, but make sure you push in down on the bottom first and hold it in with your foot before you tie the top. I like to tie the top first. It's just easier for me. So how this fence tie works? You go up. Got it. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. So come around, wrap around the fence.
It's raining. Goats are getting crazy.
See how the fence is behind it? Tool right here. See that tool? Stick it in there. And you wrap around.
Sally says, "What you doing?"
Done. See how easy and quick that was? It's really easy. Like I said, punch. Screwdriver will work if you had a short enough one. Like I said, I got these 4-inch squares. You want to make sure that you can get your tool through this. If it's too long, when you go twist around, then you hit your next one down. Hey, will you grab me that tool, please? I want to keep two of them in your pocket.
Arms aren't long enough.
Here's another section of fence, and that one's stretched tight, brought down here. You can see down at this end is loose. We're going to tie this fence into this fence. Now, they have crimps that you can crimp these together, and when you go, well, in our case, we don't know what size we got when we were at the store, so we just go with what we got here. We're going to do it the old way. You can see this part of the fence here. Well, we're going to use these to tie into that fence. We're going to twist them together. Alrighty. On your fence, you can have 4x4s, 2x2x4s, whatever. There's some of the livestock fence, there's smaller holes, and then really big holes. I think this is called livestock fence. This is what you use around the barrier of your property. This will keep out small varmints, you know, like dogs, coyotes, or whatever they're supposed to, but It helps. And it gets bigger as it goes up. Make sure this is on the bottom. Alrighty. Here we go. So I want this long piece here, and I don't want this. So I just go down and cut these. And if you guys are curious, what kind of pliers I'm using is Nipix. A lot of field mechanics, diesel truck mechanics, automobile mechanics, they love their Nipix. All right, also, I'm leaving these guys on here too. These will actually help to hold the when you tie them together. Yeah, they might be a pain in the butt to you. Just don't leave these laying around in your yard. They will damage a tire or two. That rain is something. It wasn't raining earlier. We lost our sunshine.
As soon as we said we were coming outside.
Huh?
As soon as we said we were coming outside.
Yep. We stayed inside most part of the day because it was raining. It was chilly. And as the sun came out and looked at the thermometer, it said 61. Hey, let's go outside and let's go play. We get outside, it starts raining, the sun goes away. But this has to be done. And if you're a beginner homesteader and you don't have yourself a good pair of cutters, invest. Because when you're doing a bunch of fencing and you got to cut a bunch, makes life miserable. Just cut that big one really easy, barely squeezed it much. Hey, we go down there and kick that roll down past the truck. Move the truck down that way, big red. Kind of go past that tree too. Might have to start pulling towards you, away from the truck. There you go. Yep, just throw that dolly on it. And here comes the roll again. All right, same thing with your other fence. You're going to do the same thing. You need some extra. So we're cutting out this guy too. When you put these in your pocket, make sure you take them out of your pocket. They make women really mad when they go wash your clothes. Or anybody. Alright, so always start at the bottom because now I get to lay in the wet grass. You want your bottoms to match. Top doesn't matter. As long as you got tall enough T-posts. Alright, I got 2 sets of parallel lines. Go up and down to the top to the bottom. Same way here, so I'm bringing them on up. Right here you can see that we lined up. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to twist these around. You might have to take some off. Let's see how long this is. It's going to be very difficult to tie when it's too long. just like so.
Hey guys, what you doing?
Dolly!
Hi, Dolly. What's it doing?
All right, we got one side done. All the way down. Does not have to be pretty, just has to hold while you stretch it. Some of them wrap around this, some of them wrap around this one, up and down. Like right here, this one wraps around both sides and then goes up. See why the reason why we say some of these? So if it does unravel, you can see down here how we went down that way. Now we're getting ready to do this other side.
A new play toy.
Uh-huh.
She says, what's this? A new play toy.
Let me know when you're on.
Yep.
All right, so it's not really that hard to tie fences together, but it is a little time consuming, it's tedious, but no big deal. There's no perfect art to tying at all. None. Just make sure you get enough wraps so when you twist, when you go tighten it up, stretch the fence, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got their own way. Everybody's got the correct way. Everybody else has got the wrong way. Me, I'm just going to tie it in all kinds of different directions, because once you stretch it, and if it holds, it's game on. Me, I personally like to leave these pieces on. There's a lot of people that likes to probably leave them off, take them off. I look at it this way. It's just another piece for it to catch when it starts, if it decides to unravel. Oh, you can see here, we tied this fence to this one, and we tie this one to this fence to this fence. It's ugly looking, but who cares? It's livestock. They don't care if it's pretty or not, right? Right. All we care about keeps the animals in. All right, guys, so here's your own tool, how to make it. A couple scraps 2x4s laying around. Cut them the same length. Don't mind my 45s. It's just something that was laying around. All we're gonna do is, oh, and then I drilled the holes, use 1/4 inch carriage bolts. Make sure it goes through both boards, and there's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches longer in the bolts when you go through both boards. The 1/4 inch carriage bolts is what we had laying around here from previous jobs up north. You don't have to use 1/4 inch. You can use 5/16. You can use 3/8. I really don't care what you use. But we use whatever's laying around. Make sure you use washers and a nut, otherwise your nut buries in the wood, you can't get it back. Just in case anybody really doesn't know the difference between when somebody says 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, 1/2 inch, whatever. It's not the size of the head. That's the diameter of the bolt. Nine out of 10 times, if you use 1/4 inch stuff, the nut and the head is going to be 7/16. And you don't have to use the ratchet I'm using. I use a 1/4 inch snap-on ratchet and Mac Tools socket. You can use whatever you want. That's putting your clamp on. Come along. You can use whatever come along you got around the house. There's all sorts of types of come-alongs. I think up in the van, in my service van, I got a Dayton come-along, a cable, chain. I couldn't tell you the name brand of this come along because I got this come along when I ordered a bunch of proto tools. I can't remember what the name is, but coffin. Alright, you run on up there where I tie that fence together when I stretch this fence out, and let's take a look at it and see what happens. Alrighty, so we got the fence pretty. So what you're basically looking for is when you stretch your fence is the tension. You can feel tension on it. If you ever grab a hold of a fence, you feel it when it's a limp noodle. It's a limp noodle. But you can see here where I tied it together, nothing happened. And this is pretty tight. If you over tighten it, you can break your fence. This chain on the come along, your come along cable and chain, you can see how tight that chain is. That's pretty tight. See if we go any tighter, see what happens. See, now it doesn't really give it all. That's pretty tight. I don't think you want to go any tighter than that. Alright, not promoted by wedge lock at all. But if you look around everywhere on our property, every corner post in the garden, it's got one. At the gate, it's got one. There's one up there, there's one over here. They're everywhere. I like to use these. One, they don't rust. They're aluminum. They don't rust. So I like using them. There's another company that we met last year at the Kentucky State Fair. They're made out of plastic. They were really kind of cool. Really easy to use. These are a little difficult to use, but they're not that bad. Once you mess up the first 2 times, flows after that. But the problem I have with plastic is when it sits out in the sun, it gets brittle. All right, so, and you can look whenever you buy these. You can actually, it shows you the picture. It's got a corner, and then this is a diagonal brace. And then they have another one that goes straight across the top and straight across the bottom for openings or bracing in the middle of the fence if you need it. All right, the instructions suck booty on this. It's all on the back. It's plastic. Make sure it doesn't fade away on you or whatever. But they stink. But I like these. So we're gonna put this on here. I like these up as tall as I can get them. You can see these little notches right here. One right there, one right there. You want to make sure they're in between, and the bottom one is just barely rusting. Here's your locking piece that goes on the back side. Slide it in there. Sometimes you have to tap them in to get them started. That is it. Now it's locked. Can't go up, can't go down. It'll hit these little locks, tits, whatever you want to call them.
Call them knobs.
Knobs. Dingleberries. All right, then this is your corner one. I like to go ahead and set that corner right now. So when you tighten up your fence, you're gonna pull the fence this way. And then whenever you tie your fence, you're gonna take this guy and you're gonna pull just a little bit. And then when you let go, it pulls down. But you're also gonna have a bar running at 60 degrees. I like to take the end piece off of them. And the way how that works, you see it just sets right in there upside down. Now I lay it on the ground. It's at its natural 60 degrees. Then you get your other T-post and you figure out where you're going to drive it. You see about right there, I got about an inch. You get an inch or two of play. Right there. That's where we're going to drive it. And you notice I got the knobs, locks facing the corner. Just like the same way on the top. Same pieces. Oh. Go on up there and pull that post towards the truck, please. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish up this video. I've had some videos I got to finish up. It edited and get online. I got one about irrigation, watering system, about drip tape, sprinkler heads for the garden. I got a couple other ones out there I got to finish editing. Sorry about the light. The sun is rising up over here and it's messing with the lighting. Let's get back to the fencing. So we got the wedge locks are done. Here's one. Goes all the way down to that one. And there's a corner post. I think that's where I left off. So what we got going on here is, I know you see two T-posts here, and I'll explain that here in just a second. Just let me finish this up. Wedge lock is right here. I like to go as high as I can. Whenever it pulls in a little bit, it lowers down the flex down lower. When it pulls on, when you pull your fence around and stretch it that way, pulls on this bar right here, pushes down to the bottom. Bottom can't move because it's in the ground. The second T-post is to tie your fence in. The ties I got at Tractor Supply do not like going around any other way the fence but this way. Fortunately, you can see I don't have a shortage of T-posts. How I acquired T-post is I used to do a bunch of events and they were getting rid of the T-post and they gave them to me. I was like, I'll take them. You never can't have enough. T-post is very expensive. Gate is on. That is an 8-foot gate. I like big gates. The problem with people's gates, at the end they sag down on the ground. You have to make sure that you have some way to make it very stable. Well, we tied up to the corner post of the barn, 4x4, 7-inch lags into the barn in the corner, all the way down. Hinge pins. Remember guys, one is pointing down and one's pointing up. Here's the one that's pointing down and the one is pointing up. The reason why is if you got them both pointing up, take the gate on and off, really easy. I have a couple gates like that. I have to take the gates off quite a bit. That is the reason why I like the 8-foot gates. I thought I was going to be cool and safe with a 6-foot gate. By the time it hinges, it's not a true 6-foot gate. It's just shy. Here's a 6-foot gate. I know there's a bunch of stuff right here. We're having problems with Sam and Sadie climbing over the fence. I will do a video on this right here. This is gardening fence. And I screwed them in with self-lagging screws. Looked at other farm gates that has that on there. They're on the bottom. They're not on the top. Problem is, Sam and Sadie, when they stand on their hind legs, they tower over the fence and their armpits rest on top of the fence. So, if you like what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget the thumbs up button. And subscribe to our channel. Don't forget the little bell, the little ding-a-ling-ding-ding-ding bell. Or you can join us over on Facebook. I'm trying to post more things over there. That's at Runaway Acres. Over at Facebook. I know that the ending of this is kind of off the wall, but I'm in a big hurry. We're leaving for Michigan in a couple weeks. I have lots of things to do. And look at Big Sam, sitting there looking pretty. Big Sam. Big Sam. Alrighty guys, I'm out of here. I will get this video published here really quick. It'll be on really quick. I'll make sure I'll do it before I leave for town. Got a couple other videos I'm going to edit and then I'll get them online. Thanks everybody for having faith in us, and God bless everybody. Have fun. Be safe out there. Buck grunt.